Hey everyone, welcome to another General 0 Hour replay. This is Scottagorn, and this is another game from July 18th from Skippy's Garage, the LAN party, and we are on Military Encounter, a 4v4 map. Usually you're going to be on the same plateau as your teammate, but this night we just let the computer decide where we were, and I am not on Pcap's team. We are against each other in the same plateau, and so we are sending workers furiously in each other's directions. I don't know if he recognized it right at first, that we were not on the same team but in the same spot, but I did. So I am barricading off this supply, and Pcap seemed surprised when I started firing on his supply from my tunnel, so I don't think he quite recognized the situation. Same thing's going on down here. The blue Wildcard is my teammate against Tytan, and the red, who's on a team with Pcap up top. And we got a China infantry in Wildcard with those mini gunners coming out and shooting the workers. Titan being GLA stealth. And it looks like he will be able to get those two mini guards over there in time to stop this worker and a third. If Titan has more workers coming to the front, he can complete the building on those, but he's not focusing on more workers. He's got a hijacker instead going to the front. I've secured this top side against Pcap and starting our third tunnel just for defense's purposes. A second supply up here. Problematic though, Neo and STM are starting their garrison of the middle, and this is where a lot of the supplies are on this map. And so Skippy and Synthesis coming in a little late to the party. Pcap bringing workers down here as well, which is good because he was getting about as much as he could from me up here up top. So I've sectioned off this supply so he can't enjoy it, and so my next thought is to complete the stranglehold and attack this back supply, leaving him with what I thought was no supplies left, but he was building in the middle. Skippy garrisoning those. Oh, gets it down right before that toxin tunnel can go up. Synthesis heading towards the middle as well. Alright, so Titan escaped with a bulldozer, however is going to lose his front line scaffolds and tunnels with Wildcard chasing him into his own base. Don't think he had very much extra in mind for these attack outposts coming in. Just some rebels left over. I've taken out the supply from Pcap. Run over the worker so that he can't make the arms dealer, trying to shoot other infantry with my technical as well and take out this command center. Okay, so a bunch of rebels and some RPG troopers are enough to chase off Wildcard for now. So Wildcard being infantry on a team with Skippy, USA Laser, Synthesis, USA Vanilla, and myself here with GLA Vanilla, I suppose it probably was. Don't remember exactly. But now trying to finish off this base from Pcap, bringing the technicals in. Did not realize, however, that STM over here was at a great location. I think STM realized from the very beginning that he was against me and on Pcap's team. So China Infantry still has access to Dragon Tanks, helping Neo in the middle, and causing some major issues for me up here. So while I'm finishing off Pcap's base, he's selling. He's getting out of there. STM is flame walling my base. Luckily I did have a few technicals nearby. Quad cannons actually, to be able to deal with that. But not before he does some real destruction. And looks like Wildcard also had the idea for Dragon Tanks. Making quick work of that supply. Titan was able to find it even though it was stealthed, I'm guessing. Still found it with the Dragon Tank moving in with the tank hunters. So I closed the gap with the quad cannons, and actually, besides those tunnels, this supply was the only building I had left. So even though I took out Pcap from the north, and he does still survive in the middle, he's starting to gain quite a presence with the arms deal going up. If STM had gotten there just a little faster with this Dragon Tank and had pointed in the correct direction, I could have been out of the game quite suddenly. And speaking of out of the game, Titan's just about been completely taken out of commission here. Has one worker, but he's only got $1,000 collecting from this bottom supply, trying to rebuild down here in his buddy Neo's base. So Wild and I having a lot of success on the bottom and top of the map. Hopefully he doesn't roast his own guys. Yep, he's able to walk away, kills all those workers before they can escape. And I'm trying to work on getting STM out of my business and forcing Pcap off of this continent. So while Wildcard and I are having quite a bit of success, Neo now coming in to help, Neo and Pcap and STM have garrisoned off this entire area, and now it's Skippy Synthesis to try to reclaim it. However, that is not so easy once it's already been established. Seeing laser tanks, those are tough units, but toxin tunnels pack a punch as well. And it's probably too early in the game to have composite armor. Skippy making a little inroads here, taking a chunk out of Neo. However, it looks like Neo brought in enough help that Titan's trying to at least rebuild down here. However, that might just be wasted money there because it looks like Wildcard's able to come in time. Neo packs those garrisons. Really packs them tight. And Skippy able to make a little foray into Neo's base here in the middle. At least takes out that oil, which is really good. Really fortunate. The less money they have in the middle, the better. They can have it as long as they're not able to keep their supplies or oils. And looking at that now, that one's not captured. This one's being used by Pcap, and that one's captured by STM. Skippy was able to force them off there if they had one there yet, and Neo has the bottom one. So now actually with Neo's help, since he's got so much funds from the middle, he's building the defenses now for Titan. And it's Wildcard's turn to be pushed back into his own base. He's got the supply right there, got the supply in the back, but other than that, he's been mostly offensive, not a whole lot extra. Meanwhile, I'm coming down onto this plateau, just making my way around the edge, really wishing I'd seen that scaffold and I could have just shot it while it was at 0% because it comes back to bite me later when Pcap comes in. But STM has an exposed base here, and Pcap was trying to let him know about it. Here he's able to bring a couple of units back to help defend. But 4 quad cannons is a good group to defend against that. Yeah, Neo being toxin, oof, that's really helpful against those outposts. That's what you want to see. Same thing as with these quad cannons against these infantry units. Toxin tunnels, quad cannons, very effective units. Can get a lot done with just 4 quad cannons against these types of units. So Skippy consolidating on the edge of the middle, but not able to make headway into the middle itself. Now there's enough coming up my way from Pcap. Just figuring out now that he's still in the game. He's not been taken out by any means. There's still a lot of purple in the middle. And it seemed like I was about to have a whole lot of success against STM, the second base, but their combined forces pushed me out of there. The Auroras start from Synthesis. And where is he going to target with them? Is he going to target their economy? I'm wondering if it's going to be a focused attack or if he's going to be kind of using them to defend. So I do get the tunnels up. I am able to bring in an extra group, but by this point, dang, he sells it. Pcap's got the tunnel and the garrison, and they're able to combine enough of a force. Okay, that looked like a stealth fighter actually got all of those RPG troopers out of that garrison, and remembering just how many there were, that was quite the shot. Synthesis there. Skippy's still on the outside. Titan, what's he able to do while Neo's protecting him like this? Able to rebuild just a bit to get a bit of a force going in there. Quad cannons, Toxin Tractor, that's what you want, but they are really outnumbered here. And Wildcard likes to not just build those outposts, but actually double fill them. Skippy driving Humvees around, picking off some spare quad cannons on the outside. Keeps his Humvee alive for the moment. So while they're attacking all of Neo's defenses, Neo has brought in quite the impressive group against me, plus Pcap, and I should have been selling right here and now. I should have sold this supply to get them out of there. Run the workers away, but they will not survive all of those quad cannons coming after them. Seeing some red in the middle. So Titan's got a supply in the middle as well. Still has that bulldozer, so it's a good thing that we were able to hit him early and keep him out of the game. Otherwise he would have been a GLA stealth with power early on. In this south plateau is still being fought over. The combined forces of Titan, Neo, and even Synthesis, Skippy were being brought over there. Everybody's concentrating in this direction. Yeah, seeing the Auroras. Took out the oil very good. Let them have the middle as long as we can take out all of their money that they have there. So now the challenge is what to do about these toxin tunnels. Do we just leave them alone? STM now trying to poke his way into my base, finding an opening. Didn't quite find it. Yeah, Synthesis, poking at the edges of the base. Very good. And now I've got Scorpion tanks mixed in there with my quad cannons. However, the quad cannons were almost all out in front. Those should have been held back slightly. Let the Scorpion tanks go in front, take the damage. Let the quad cannons just come in to help. This was not as effective in an attack as it could have been for that reason. Plus, I still had the combined forces of Neo and Pcap to deal with. Lots of purple in the middle, however. Looks like it's getting whittled down here. Pcap does have the supply. Only 2 workers going there. I wonder about that. Skippy's still harassing the outsides of it to the point where, yes, there's 1 worker collecting from the supply dock from a distance, but really they're not getting very much from that supply dock. Still fighting for this south plateau. And here we see Inferno Cannons. Yeah, that seems to be the best way to deal with those toxin tunnels. So up here, STM's solidifying the defenses. Not much on this continent over here. Neo, no secondary economy like we're used to seeing. Still a completely intact base. Selling, Titan selling because there's no funds left on it. Here we go, Pcap found another way into my base here. Synthesis helping out. Wasn't able to get too far. They're just STM, Pcap, they're poking at my plateau, just thinking they're going to be able to find something. But it's all just barely guarded enough. Starting now in my secondary economy. Wildcard starting on his secondary economy, just building a couple of hackers. Same thing with Synthesis, now getting a couple of supply drop zones down. Skippy, nothing yet, and his supply dock is empty. Yep, 2 Auroras for the tunnel. However, unfortunately, one of those is not going to make it back, and as USA Vanilla, those are expensive units, 2,500 per Aurora. Okay, so they're trying to clear a path for Skippy to get Chinooks in the middle because Skippy is out of funds. Does Skippy have any means of making money? I think he's just got $2,000 and that's it now. They can't clear enough space from the middle to be able to make it safe for Chinooks. And now Synthesis trying the same thing. Trying to find a place, but there's too much in the middle. No spot safely for Chinooks to go and collect. Pcap has random quad cannons sitting around. And it looks like, maybe with the help of those Inferno cannons, does look like, yep, Wildcard finally has the combination he needs. The Inferno cannons, just 3 of them, that's all he needs, but that creates the firestorm. Makes it hard for Neo to counterattack with anything, because anything that walks through there has to walk through the flame to get through them. And has quite the impressive army of outposts backing that up, too. So now I'm able to clear out the north side. And I wonder if I'm just bringing the tanks back to heal them in the tunnel, because I knew they were low on health. Whatever the case, something took out the Inferno cannons, but just look at how packed those outposts are from Wildcard. When he uses those outposts, he means business. He puts 5 tank hunters in each one. Now trying to make his way down the hill, however, he's got a palace. He's got the toxin tunnels, so that garrison doesn't do him any good, and 2 toxin tunnels triangulating his guys. That's all Neo needed. Palace stays up because he's healing it. And more Chinooks. Is he bringing units down? No, he does not have supplies. He is long distance collecting from across the map. Wow. Still harassing the north part of this map. Synthesis is still harassing it with Auroras, but each one that goes down, that one survives. Good. Pcap's still very much a force in this game, keeping this north side from being overrun. Garrisons that civilian building a second time after being pushed out once. So that right there took out quite a few of my Scorpion tanks, and now whittling them down to the buggy as well. My goal was to just hit their economy. Take out the oils, take out anything from Pcap for supplies that I could. And it looks like Synthesis's goal is to clear the way for his Chinooks so that they can collect from the far side of the map. But we've got STM down here, we've got Neo, we've got Pcap, and it is hard to assault this middle when there's so much going on. It's just a mess of defenses and artillery platforms and units that pop up out of tunnels. However, at least one side of the middle has been harassed enough. They are long distance collecting. It is getting attacked by Auroras. Yeah, they're still getting plenty of resources from there. Pcap still getting resources from the top. But 2 oils have gone down. 3 oils. 3 oils have gone down. Only that one from Neo is left. So at least a fair portion of the funds from the middle have been taken away from them. Wildcard with this south side. It's got 2 supplies. Now getting an army of hackers going. Nothing on this 3rd supply dock, but there's not much left there. Neo. At some point, Titan must have given up. Did he give Neo a power when he did that? I don't think so. Either that or Wildcard was able to take out the power when he went. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of those powers belong to Neo. Those are all STMs. Pcap building up here on the hill as well. He's got his palace up there, starting on black markets, so Pcap's very much in this game. Skippy, once again, going for this east side of the middle. And with what money? Has Skippy just been living off of that $2,000 for the last 5 minutes? Or did he find a way to make money? And we got some long distance collecting going on, so that's how Skippy's made his money. And 1 supply drop zone. Looking at synthesis, he's got 4 or 5 up, so that's a fair chunk. Working on my line of black markets up here. Supply dock's gone, same with that one. They're still collecting from up here on the hill. So it's a little bit quieter now. Neo realizing that he can use these garrisons in order to attack Skippy's line of defenses right here. And actually I think that last attack by Skippy was enough to draw Neo's attention in Skippy's direction. There's aircraft flying all over the map in all directions. Synthesis still has Auroras going. He's got a Chinook flying around. He's got Comanche right there. So now we got a bit of a stalemate, a bit of a 4v3 stalemate. Yeah, we've got the outside of the map, 3/4 of it, but with that middle, with just how powerful it is, that team still has plenty of fight in them. Noticing 1 supply dock's empty now. How about this one up top? Nope, that one's still going. Skippy gets that supply back once again. Wildcard's sending in the carpet bomb. So it's a 4v3, but it's a dangerous spot. Toxin bomb on Wildcard's base. That's going to take out the trucks. Luckily didn't take out most of his hackers, which are in the rim around the edge of his base. Now Neo moving in on Skippy's direction. Bringing in buggies against these laser cannons, and Synthesis countering the buggies with a group of Humvees. Loaded Humvees, able to take out some quick quad cannons right there. Dodging the MiGs from STM, barely. Barely escapes with all 3 Humvees for now. Skippy, even more infantry. Looking like that's all he's gonna make. Or all he wants to make. myself. Just want to take out a garrison real quick. And head back on out of there. So everybody's slowed down. Everybody's building up their economy. Got a lot of black markets up here now. A little bit more production. Pcap's got a group in the middle. He's really built up on STM's side of things as well. And it looks like they are really coordinating an attack against Skippy. See the MiGs coming in from STM. We see purple here with the quad, or with the buggies. Orange is the quad cannons, taking out the Comanche. And in fact, at the same time, we have a rebel ambush now from Neo in the middle of Skippy's base. And Skippy didn't have anything back there to counter it, so while they are pressing in the front door, taking out those defenses at the same time, Neo just invited himself right in. And I think just about every single building is accounted for with those rebels. Not the power and not the war factory. It's just about everything else, though. Had one rebel per building. And now buggies in Synthesis's base, it looks like, yes, Wildcard and I were building up our secondary ecos, but maybe we built up for too long. We were too inactive, and now the other team struck with force all at the same time. Skippy's out because they destroyed the last two buildings that they couldn't capture or force him to sell, and now it's 3v3 all over again, and Neo has his very own USA base right in our own heartland, with more rebels coming in Synthesis's direction. Already took one of his supply drop zones, which he needs. Going for power, airfield, and it's looking like the might of the middle is finally making itself shown here, just how powerful it is to gain the middle on this map. Synthesis forced to sell before my Jarman Kel can snipe out the rest of those rebels. Pcap's still a force here. And now looks like Synthesis's own Colonel Burton forced to destroy his own buildings. With that, even as we see that, we see Neo being aggressive in another direction as well. Yeah, Wildcard. Lots of secondary eco, but not much in the way of an army. It looks like he just brought it down, was able to get some work done against Neo. There used to be a palace here. Maybe he was able to take the palace out, but nothing back here to help defend his own base. And now Neo's moving into it. Things are looking pretty dire. And finally, Wildcard does use those 4 outposts that he's been keeping by that supply dock for the entire game. And I'm thinking these 4 quad cannons plus Scorpion tank are going to get caught pretty quick. Pcap still bringing more guys into this base. Taking out my quad cannons one at a time. STM. Bringing in the MiGs. That toxin bomb must not quite have been enough. Not quite far south enough to take out these outposts. That would have been devastating if all 4 of those outposts had gone down and the quad cannons had been able to survive. Those are stealth hackers. I don't think you could have seen them. Now, Wildcard has a few extra units sitting there, taking out what Neo had on the hill. He's got a few extra units sitting around his own base. Oof. Able to take out the rebel ambush. I don't know how. Must have just been from those missiles. And as soon as this toxin clears, Wildcard will be back in it. So if there was a time to act and counterattack, now's the time. They are still collecting in the middle. Neo long distance collecting, and has the oil. This territory over here has not been disturbed since I was here much earlier in the game when I went south from Pcap's base. Finally now able to get a tunnel going and see how much of this secondary eco from Pcap I can take out before this group dies to everything that they bring in. Carpet bomb from STM, that's going to hurt the group. I believe that was my toxin bomb to the right of the tunnel in order to try to prevent them from bringing reinforcements up from the middle. But they already had reinforcements in the area. So, just going to take out as many of these black markets as I can. Slow down Pcap's building just a little bit. However much I can, every bit helps. Must be looking somewhere else. Should have put them on guard mode. They could have kept on attacking those buildings while I was looking somewhere else. Wildcard now able to enter the foray in the middle. Has a few extra guys. A few extra units around his base, mostly relying on those stealth hackers in order for him to have economy. And synthesis. Going with Comanches now. Again, this is just vanilla USA, so this is not Air Force. Those are vanilla Comanches, those are vanilla Auroras when he was using those. Expensive troops. Yeah, it's like anywhere you go in the middle, they are all right there to attack you. Pcap, Neo, STM, they're all just a big group waiting to counterattack you wherever you go in the middle. Neo trying at Wildcard's base again. Not going to be able to get anywhere because I have the tunnel now in my friend's base on the exact opposite side of the map, so I can defend him now from Neo's attacks. And plus, Wildcard had the team that he needed to defend from this small group. Those outposts pack a punch, 3 missiles each. So, able to chase off Neo and defend Wildcard's land once and for all. That's the last we need to worry about Wildcard's land getting attacked. I myself have lots of units sitting around and am surprised at how inactive I am. Using my money pretty well. Yep, got it down to $100. Everybody is. Wildcard's the highest one. He's at 6,000, 7,000. So everybody's working on money. Everybody's building. Synthesis now going with choppers, couple Humvees. But I think that I am waiting for my next tunnel to go up, so that I can place a tunnel in the back of their base again. That was the plan. It looks like they want to try another shot at this hill. Pcap, Neo, move in this direction. Triple. So meanwhile, while they are going up against Synthesis's forces up here, I'm going down into the north side of the middle, trying to finally get together a force that can push them out of there once and for all. What happens up here? Something happens to these guys, because Neo and Pcap had quite the force. Did they just get attacked by Wildcard and Synthesis at the same time. It looks like whatever they had up there just melted away. Could have been a really good strike on Synthesis's base. We could have gotten them down to a 3v2. But whatever we needed to have happen there, it happened. 4, 5 Comanches, a couple of Humvees, and I thought I saw an outpost, but yeah, if they'd gotten through there real quick, this base would not have been able to hold them off for very long. Alright, finally able to clear out this mess of a middle. Don't see that supply there because it's stealthed. So while I'm clearing up the middle, Wildcard bringing in a second round of Inferno Cannons. Don't know what he's doing with this guy attacking the middle while his guys are walking through it, but overall he's got a very effective combo here. This is always the challenge of using infantry with your Inferno Cannons and your outposts, is they always tend to build firestorms that your guys walk into. Yeah, it looks like he wasn't sure if he wanted to be offensive or defensive here. Maybe putting this up as a defensive front so people couldn't come and attack him, but then charge through it anyways. But at any rate, he's knocking on Neo's front door, and me seeing that at the computer right next to him, I double up his attack with my next tunnel. It's the middle. Pretty well. Oh, nice. Good. Pretty well cleared out, except for the very, very bottom. It still has the oil. Bottom of the map now. This area is the only area that hadn't been assaulted yet. In force, finally getting attacked. Good number of troops getting through that tunnel. There's another round. And these Inferno Cannons launching missiles. My guys pouring through from the south. The other team finally gave up. But it was a heck of a game. Until then. Titan had been out from early in the game, but Wildcard and I had expended ourselves so far, overextended ourselves really, in taking out our guys on our continent that we were susceptible to counterattacks. Like Neo counterattacked Wild, pushed him back. STM sent in 3 Dragon tanks against me and fried out a few of my buildings. And so we had to prioritize secondary economy after that, and it took a long time to build up. Meanwhile, they had the entire middle to just feast on and grow fat on. And when they made the strike against Skippy, it really evened it up. In fact, I think they had the advantage there for a minute. But coordinated attack between myself and Wild, and we found the weak spot, and were able to finally get it done. I think that we really did spend a lot of time on secondary eco, more than anybody else, and that's what eventually won through in the end after everyone else was worn out. Limited econ. Actually, Pcap had quite a bit of money as well. He had the middle, and he had a lot of black markets on the side, which you should have as GLA. Wild, China, but benefited by being China infantry, so he had the promoted hackers. Well played by all. It was a heck of a starting situation with us right by each other. It was messy, and it was hard fought, and good game, everybody. We'll catch you next time.